This is Friday Fuel, and this is January 2025, episode number 3. Look, it's a big start to the year. It's always a big start to the year. Let's set new goals, new things to achieve. Let's push ourselves to our limits. But I don't think you can do that unless you've reflected on 2024, the influence that you had, and the impact that you could have had. What do you need to understand before you set a goal? Before you really truly focus on what you're really after, you've got to understand what held you back, what stopped you delivering whatever it was you were after last year, and importantly, you need to understand the core motivation for making any change, making any goal. Look, I've been working at the Modern Fatherhood Club for 2 years straight. I have pushed myself to my very limit, getting to the position that I want to be in this year. So my goal is really simple. It's to raise the profile of the Modern Fatherhood Club. It's to give you the support that you need. And it's to create a community that celebrates fatherhood and puts the foundations of strong families at the core of its values. My role is to influence my children at home. It's to create a space for them to become the best versions of themselves. But it's also to give them the tools and the values that enable them to do that. They have to make mistakes. You have to make mistakes. I have to make mistakes. I have made hundreds of mistakes along this journey. I've stood here in 2025 talking to you because I had a setback in 2020. And that setback was catastrophic. I was on the very edge of losing sight of what really mattered. I was hopeless, overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, and frankly, useless to my kids, to my wife. I let them all down. So the motivation to make change only happened for me when I hit the bottom. And that's okay. But you've got to be able to bounce back. You've got to be resilient enough to continue to make changes and continue to stride forward. I pushed myself from 2021 to 2023. I took a step back throughout 2024 because I wanted to focus on the creation of things that mattered to me, that underpinned the value of what I'm trying to deliver to you. And I wanted to create space to enjoy what it was I was trying to do. I wanted to write. I wanted to inspire you, but I wanted to be inspired. I needed something to be the catalyst for me to move forward. Because you can tread water for a long time. And ultimately, when I burned out in 2020, I pushed myself to my very limit, and I pushed myself in the pursuit of something that I really didn't want. I thought I wanted to push myself through the career ladder, have that trajectory that enabled me to earn more money. What I truly wanted was to fill a gap. I wanted to feel closer to my family. I wanted to feel fulfilled. I wanted to feel present. I wanted to add value, and I wanted to give them what I believed they needed. But I couldn't do that when I was distracted, conflicted, and unclear on what was really important. So if you're going to set any goal in 2025, you've got to understand the impact that it will have. You've got to understand the motivation for making the change, and it's got to be clear enough. I don't think you can make a goal and stick to it unless you're prepared to really peel back the layers of what motivates you and what gives you that motivation, what that drives you. You've got to understand it. And as a father of 2, I have that motivation. I want to be the influence that they need. I want to give them what they need. I want to love them. I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel the joy, and I want them to recognise as they get older that if there is a problem that they cannot overcome, then Dad is there. Dad is there. He is prepared. But I also want to set the bar high. I also want to give them an opportunity to thrive, but I don't want to give them everything. I want them to find their feet. I want them to uncover their true potential, and I want them to understand the value of setbacks, the value of feeling like you can't get to whatever it is you're after. Because it requires hard work. Everything that you do needs you to push on. And we're great at that. We as men are fantastic at pushing on. What we fail to understand is the impact that that pushing on can have on us, on our partners, on our young families. Your role is to influence from a position of strength, confidence, courage, lead with passion, lead with presence, give them what they need, but understand that that comes at a cost to you burning out. So be prepared to take a step back, be prepared to reflect on the role that you play today, the influence that you have, the influence of the world around you. And for 2025, focus on what truly matters. Understand the cost of not changing, understand the cost of the goal, and understand the benefit of them seeing the very best version of you. I believe that you can set a goal. I believe you have the motivation to stick to that goal. But what I don't truly believe is that that goal needs to be huge. Goals don't have to be massive. They don't have to change the world. What they need to be linked to is something that truly matters. Your kids matter. The relationship that you're trying to build with them matters. The world that you're trying to create for them matters. Your legacy is what matters. The influence that you have on every interaction matters. Whatever it is that you're setting for 2025, be prepared to step back, understand the influence that it's going to have, understand what it is going to cost you to achieve, understand how much energy is needed to achieve that goal. Because the motivating factor behind your decision to achieve something spectacular, the motivating factor has to be the influence that it can have on them. It shows them who you truly are. You lead with authenticity when you're clear on your outcomes. But to achieve a goal, you need to understand the input, the sacrifice that you need to make. And if the sacrifice that you're making is burning you out, then there is more to the goal. Break it down into segments. Work on individual component parts and get after every segment. But do it sensibly. Set yourself a number of smaller goals. Go after the small goal. Achieve the small goal and move to the next level. You can set the world alight. You can create the biggest goal that you've ever had. You can create this awe-inspiring world with these massive goals. But if you fall at the first hurdle, what do you teach them? If you fail, what do they learn? What do you learn? If you don't get back up and keep pushing forward, how do you set the example that you need to set? Your life is what you make of it. For them, provided you're connected, provided you're giving them what they truly need, which is love, affection, attention, joyous moments, they will see you for who you truly are. Your goals don't matter today. It's the influence that you have. It's how you shape the outcome, how you shape the world that they live in. But if you're burning out and it's creating frustration, overwhelm, that is eroding the relationship that you have. It is eroding the confidence that you have. It is stopping you living in the moment and being present. And that is what we're after. We want to be present. We don't want to be disconnected. We don't want a generation of children growing up where their dad is so distracted by the outside world. He's so drained mentally that he cannot give them what they need. You need to focus on what's truly important. If you're going to set a goal, underline what's important. Underline the impact. Underline the benefits that it's going to have on you and specifically on them. If you can link that goal back to those beautiful children that you have, that goal becomes so much easier to achieve because the motivating factor for change is influencing the future that they have. My goals for 2025 are super simple. I've got physical goals, physical challenges that I want to achieve. I've got High Rocks Glasgow in March 2025, so I've got to train for that. I want to maintain the level of fitness that I've got. I am not super fit by any stretch of the imagination, but I am focused on the state of my body. But importantly, I'm focused on the state of my mind, because exercise helps me overcome stress, the challenges that I face on a day-to-day basis, and it enables me to unwind, which means in the interactions that we have as a family, I'm better, I'm more relaxed. I am able to put the stress to one side. The next goal is to ensure that when things get heavy, I take a step back and I continue to reflect on the impact I'm having, but importantly, I talk about it. I get support, because it doesn't matter where you've come from, it doesn't matter what challenges you face right now, you will burn out like I did. Because if you're not looking after yourself and you're consistently being selfless, then you will at some point burn out. You will at some point lose sight of what's important, and potentially, like I did, you could hit the bottom. You need to focus on the joy. I want to focus on the things that matter. I want to focus on creating lasting memories with my kids. I want to encourage them to reach for the stars. But I cannot do that if I'm distracted. I cannot do that if I'm not in a position of strength. I owe it to them. I owe it to myself. You owe it to your kids to be the best version of yourself, to understand how you operate, to understand how the stress influences who you are around your children. If your goal for 2025 is to be a better dad, to be the best dad you can be, you need to understand the impact that you're already having. You need to recognise what is stressing you out, what is causing you concern, and what is creating conflict internally, because there is always a feeling of conflict, a feeling of not being enough, a feeling of not having it all planned out. If that is the case, your goal may be to simplify things, to step back, to enjoy the moments. One of my other goals is simply to be a better support network for my partner, to give her what she truly needs, to be that voice of reason, but also to understand the pressure that she faces, to recognise that I don't have the solution. I need to be that sounding board, because the challenge that often we face as a couple is that we will go through the detail. We may get lost in the weeds of the challenge and we don't focus on the solution. So I want to be solution focused in 2025. I want to listen. I want to be able to communicate challenges effectively. And I want to be able to talk through situations that have caused me concern, caused me stress, left me frustrated, potentially even overwhelmed. Because fatherhood's a journey, right? There are different stages. When you're in the trenches, when you have a new baby, it's sleep deprivation. It's the pressure of trying to adapt. It's trying to understand what baby needs. But as they get older, their personalities are so much more diverse, and they come with so much more complexity. Fatherhood starts with testing your resilience, but that resilience is so important. Your ability to bounce back from setback like I did in 2020 is critical to your success. Your goals are there to set an example. You get after them, you achieve them, you show your family that you are showing up, you are connecting with them. But the main goal is to truly just give them what they need. Simplify your approach. Focus on the end goal. Focus on the impact that you can have. Focus on the influence that you want to have. Lead with passion. Inspire from that position of strength and confidence. Look, if you're feeling burned out already, and we're only in week 1, I want you to just take a step back. I want you to write down a number of goals that you're looking to achieve. But I want you to work out first what's important, why it's important, and I want you to channel that passion and enthusiasm you have for your family, for your children. Because if you can ease the pressure. You can see what truly matters. The clarity will inspire you to set bigger goals. But your objective in January is to find a simple set of goals that allow you to move forward, plan ahead, focus on the future, but take it step by step. The bigger the goal, the more overwhelming the bigger the goal, the more overwhelming it can become. Now, you can put that goal out in the future and have steps that enable you to get to that goal and achieve that goal. But every time you achieve something, every time that you feel like you've delivered, I want you to write it down. I want you to reflect on the impact that it's had, and I want you to understand the cost. I want you to reflect on the influence that it had on your relationship with your children. So if you were chasing that promotion last year and it didn't pay off, how have you reset? How have you recovered from the setback? What's the goal for this year? Are you going to pursue that promotion again? If so, how are you going to do that? What are you focusing on that will enable you to deliver it this time around? Because that second hit is going to destroy your confidence. Is there an alternative role, more money, easier life? It's about perspective. To be able to recover from a setback, whatever that setback may have been, and to be able to reset your goals, reset your intention, it's about the perspective that you hold and controlling the narrative that you have and connecting with what's truly important. That narrative becomes so powerful. That story that you tell yourself helps you overcome the next hurdle, helps you disconnect from the outside world so you can be more present, even though you're in pursuit of something exceptional. Your role this year is to influence from a position of strength and confidence. It is to become the dad they need you to be. Simplify who you are. Focus on the connection. Set the goals that maximize your impact. Lead with confidence. Lead by example. And if you face setback, be sure to reset. Take a step back. Breathe. Compose yourself and go again. You have it in the bag. Whatever goal you set this year, it will, if delivered, enable you to inspire those beautiful children that you have. And it's your role to influence them, to guide them, to teach them about setback. It's your role to show them how it's done. So if you're going to take better care of your health, go out and get it done. Stick to it. Find the motivation. The motivation, as I've said, is right there. It will keep you on track if you continue to focus on it. And then you create a bigger goal. And if you achieve a goal, reflect on its impact. Reflect on the joy that it brings. It's all about setting the tone. Lead from the front. Guide with action, with words, and showcase what you are all about. Let them see the best version of you. But in doing so, you must not forget who you are. You must not forget the influence that you can have on their world. And you must trust your instinct. If you feel like you're burning out or the energy is depleted, you have to take a pause. You have to take a knee for a moment, compose yourself and get back on it. Because needlessly pushing on and on and on only will push them away. It will drive a wedge between you and it will leave you frustrated, conflicted, angry, and even overwhelmed. Stay on track. Think big, but break it down into smaller chunks. Whatever those goals are, write them down, connect them with what truly matters, and get after it. Consistency is the key, but also understanding how hard you're pushing and understanding your limits. That will help you lead the way you want to lead, and it will help you become the dad they need you to be. This is Friday Fuel. This is 2025. This is the Modern Fatherhood Club. We have your back. You have challenges that you need to overcome, reach out. If you want to share your story, drop a comment below. If you want to change the way that you approach things, grab one of our courses, grab some of our resources. Our ebooks are free. Join the community. Become the dad they need you to be. This has been Aidan. Welcome to 2025, and this has been Friday Fuel.